Tantor Audio, a division of Recorded Books, presents The Truth About College Admission, a family guide to getting in and staying together, by Brennan Barnard and Rick Clark, narrated by Adam Barr. Preface. In many homes and families around our nation, the discussion surrounding college begins in elementary school. With one eye on their own children, parents are also closely looking around their community. At work, on the soccer field, and at dinner parties, stories of high school seniors getting into or getting rejected from one college or another add to the growing consternation. By the time middle school rolls around, the stakes seem high. Which classes do we need to take? Should our daughter volunteer in an orphanage abroad or attend a computing camp this summer? Is it true that Eagle Scouts have a better chance of being admitted to an Ivy League school? Loving parents simply want their kids to have choices, options, and a happy, successful life. However, with understandably high hopes and expectations, parents often hinge future success on their children being admitted to a small subset of top-ranked and selective colleges. Entering and progressing through high school with this mentality can create a pressure cooker for families that leads to a constant focus and comparison on the number of advanced placement (AP) courses, SAT scores, achievements, awards, and titles, all in the name of standing out or being enough for college applications. Left unchecked, over time, especially as students enter their final 2 years of high school, this dynamic can result in acute fissures in the family because the singular focus becomes getting in. The truth about college admission is meant to help you stay together as a family through this experience. This book is written to put the college search and admission experience in perspective for your family. It challenges the common narrative that college admission is a rite of passage to fear and reclaims the opportunity many students and families often miss, one that provides growth, discovery, and excitement for the future. It runs counter to a few of the constant claims purported by the media that there are only 25 great schools in our nation, that students have no chance of getting into a good school, and that they must perfectly follow a secret formula throughout high school to unlock success. In this book, students and their families will find insights and tips, but no tricks. Metaphors and analogies will help frame why and how admission decisions are made, but there will be no promises or guarantees of acceptance to particular schools. No shortage of how-to books claim to uncover the secret to getting into college. This is the guide for the rest of us, parents and students who are intent on putting family first by engaging in real, healthy, balanced conversations. We will bring you laughs and smiles, and more importantly, encourage students to think deeply about why they are going to college. Answering why naturally leads them to where they should visit, apply, and ultimately go in order to grow, learn, and thrive in and beyond their college years, both as a student and as a family. Most books on this subject are written by visiting journalists glancing in from the outside, or they are incomplete tell-alls penned by former short-term staff members at competitive private colleges, or they are by parents purporting to be experts because their child was admitted to an Ivy League school. These narratives fan the flames engulfing the frenetic college admission conversation, perpetuating the myth that there are tricks, insider information, and foolproof ways to avoid devastating pitfalls in the college admission experience that can only be mastered by reading so-called expert advice. They claim to have a corner on the market for the winning essay, or know the perfect combination of extracurricular activities to get a scholarship or a coveted seat at a highly selective university. Families are continually receiving solicitations from high-priced consultants or independent agents who charge exorbitant fees for five-star essays and promise to open the doors to the nation's best colleges. The truth is that there is no blueprint or bona fide pathway to a specific place. Ultimately, the secret is that there is no secret, but there can be sanity. There can be unity. Our guide is honest. It is based on a combined 4 decades of work in the field directly counseling and advising students and families in schools and communities. Using that experience, we outline why nobody can assure you a spot in selective colleges, and we describe how institutional priorities and school missions dictate decisions. Rather than laying out a strategy that can breed anxiety and exacerbate division, the truth about college admission debunks the myth that there is a script or a perfect formula for standing out or getting in, and instead reframes the discussion about the wide landscape of American higher education. Interspersed with quotes from other veteran admission professionals, insight from thoughtful college leaders, and reflections from parents and students throughout our nation, this book provides anecdotes and perspective, questions and encouragement, options and hope that will help your family ultimately thrive, not just survive, during your college search and selection experience. Author's note: as educators and admission professionals, we believe strongly in the power of higher education to transform lives and benefit both the individual and society. But we also acknowledge that the path to college is not for everyone. This book is written for students and families who have decided that pursuing a college degree is both valuable and important. Moreover, we focus our recommendations on traditional college-age students who are seeking 4-year degrees. Our intention is to provide a guide for those navigating college admission that is more healthy and broad than we commonly see. We use the words family and parents as catch-all terms to simplify the flow of our recommendations. We are aware, however, that families come in all shapes and sizes, and parents could refer to guardians, grandparents, or other trusted adults who are supporting young people through this experience. We want to honor the power of family as representing connection and community in helping students dream and plan for the future. We hope this guide will serve as a structure and resource for anyone engaging in the college search and application journey. Introduction. How to use this book. This book is designed to be a companion guide as you walk together through the college admission experience. It is intended to be a progressive resource that you can follow and refer to throughout your college search and application journey. This guide is filled with both a contextual exploration of college admission and pragmatic resources and exercises that you can use along the way. Divided into 4 parts, it is designed to stimulate questions and promote dialogue. The first part is intended to set the stage for your college search. We provide suggestions on how best to approach the experience and what to expect from colleges and each other as a family. Chapter 1 begins by asking the important foundational question of why you are going to college, and is followed in Chapter 2 by a review of the current landscape in admission and how colleges search for students, dissecting the vast marketing budgets of schools and unpacking the robust strategies colleges and universities have for recruiting students. Chapter 3 explores some of the issues, or wedges, that commonly drive families apart if not approached intentionally or thoughtfully. After setting the stage, in the second part of the book, we dive into the practical aspects of this experience. Chapter 4 incorporates contextual material from the preceding chapters to help you form a balanced college application list. We discuss the concept of reach, target, and likely schools, while outlining the underlying premise that being admitted to any of these would be a great option. It explores in detail the notion of match, and that the right school is not about its ranking, but rather where a student is going to learn, grow, build a network, thrive inside and outside the classroom, and launch into life after college. Next, Chapter 5 discusses how to conduct a thorough campus visit. We provide questions to ask, people to see, and ways to maximize time and reflect on what you learned to inform your evolving college search. We will relate anecdotes and provide tips for parents and students so that they can avoid conflict and division. The chapter closes with quotes from parents and students about their experiences visiting a variety of colleges. In the third part, Chapters 6, 7, and 8 explore what colleges are looking for and how decisions are made, while addressing some of the pitfalls and best practices in applying to college. We take listeners behind the scenes of college admission offices with discussions of holistic admission, institutional priorities, and how applications are reviewed. This part pulls back the curtain and again humanizes admission counselors and committees. Listeners will be able to hear and better understand the ruminations, deliberations, and committee conversations that occur as offices arrive at decisions and create their classes. It will provide nuance and context for what's happening after you submit the application. Who are these people on the other end? What takes so long for them to review and make a decision? The exploration will delve deep into each decision a student might receive: admit, deny, defer, waitlist, and others. What does each one mean? What do you need to do next, if anything? We share our extensive experience with a variety of different enrollment models, and these chapters include anecdotes and insight from admission deans and counselors. Finally, in the last part, Chapters 9 and 10 provide practical guidance for making a final college choice that honors a mix of emotion and pragmatism. We propose a decision-making process that is grounded in honesty about desires, future, finances, and more. We also examine the decision-making timeline, sometimes as compressed as 3 weeks in April, and how to do preemptive soul-searching and research to be prepared when admission decisions and financial aid packages arrive. We focus on the critical need to celebrate your success together with each college acceptance. Finally, acknowledging that this is a bittersweet time, we explore the concept of moving from parent to partner. We close with letters written to students and parents separately about how to make the most of this experience and to appreciate the role of family. Just as the college admission experience is not to be approached passively, neither is this book. Our goal throughout is to help you remain together, to provide perspective, and to challenge you to consider questions that will promote introspection and unity. At the end of each chapter, you will find a try this exercise that allows you to practice what you have just learned. There are also questions to reflect on and discuss in a Talk About This section that accompanies each chapter, and a brief check-in reminder to ensure that this journey remains intentional. Are you on the same page? Are you excited about and encouraged to continue reading and considering the college experience? If not, what do you need to do, discuss, or learn to get there? Our hope is that your family will take the time to engage with these exercises and discussions, as they are designed to make your experience meaningful, uniting, and successful. Though these chapters are presented sequentially, families will benefit from returning to various chapters as references throughout the journey. So lean in, check in, and stay together as you experience this amazing adventure and journey as a family. Part 1. Chapter 1. Why are you going to college? We thought we had all the answers. It was the questions we had wrong. 11 o'clock tick-tock by U2. A family with generations of graduates from Georgia Tech had a daughter who had been denied admission. Her parents came to the admission office to appeal the decision. The father began, earnestly and restrained, "I just don't understand. She has all A's. She is at the top of her class. Her test scores are great. When I got into tech, I was not half as prepared as she is now. My test scores were average, and I'd never taken an advanced placement class in my life. As he began describing the activities she had participated in, and the praise her teachers and coaches regularly lavished upon her, his hands started to clench. Periodically, he would bite his lower lip slightly and glance anxiously at his wife. Meanwhile, the mother's head was down. Even though her brown hair was hanging on the table and hiding much of her face, I, Rick, could tell her eyes were now softly shut, perhaps in hopes she was anywhere but in my office right then. Their daughter was just staring straight ahead and shaking her head slowly. Then, for the first time, the father paused. Momentary silence. Pregnant silence. Speaking again, he raised his voice and did not yell, but knocked his clenched fist on the table. I just don't understand. This is not fair. It's not right. She's worked her whole life for this. You all must have made a mistake. As he was talking, I was considering the 35,000 other applicants. I was thinking about the thousands of students with nearly perfect grades in SAT, ACT scores. I was considering the hundreds of students who had attained their gold award or a black belt in Taekwondo, or who had earned their pilot's license or been captain of both the volleyball and tennis teams. In my mind, I was thinking about Tech's 23% admittance rate and how many students we did not admit, based on the number of available spots in the class, who would clearly do well academically and socially on any campus in the country. This family was looking to me for a response, but what could I really say in that moment? What would be genuine, accurate, and helpful when I really wanted to say, I see your point? I was definitely not going to contest that she was a bright student with excellent grades and impressive involvement outside the classroom. There was nothing wrong with her essays or short answer questions. The recommendations from her teacher and counselor were glowing. Honestly, like most applicants, I could make a case for her to be admitted. And in looking at the notes in her file, one of our admissions staff members had done just that. Would she succeed in the classroom? Absolutely. Was she the type of student we would like on campus? Without question. Her school and community involvement, as well as supplemental essays, demonstrated that she would continue to contribute outside the classroom, too. Like so many parents, this father was demanding to know exactly why she was denied. He wanted me to point to test scores or grades or the number of clubs she had been part of and say they were not good enough or not high enough. The reality was that numerically we had admitted some students with lower scores or lower grades or less involvement. We had done so based on our undergraduate goals, that is, institutional fit and match, geographic region, curricular interest, or specific academic, personal, or extracurricular background. When we talk about holistic admission review to prospective families, we mean that there is no numeric formula. There is no one thing. College admission at selective schools is a human process, and as such, it is all things human, subjective, imperfect, and more. In the recruitment phase, families find the fact that admission officers are using judgment and context incredibly reassuring. It is ineffably frustrating, however, when a talented student is denied. With this young woman, that was where we sat, and the decision was not going to change. You know, she has been offered merit scholarships elsewhere and was admitted to honors colleges at several universities, but you're saying she's not good enough. His daughter winced slightly, and his wife let out an audible sigh as he made his case. At this point, he pulled several acceptance and scholarship letters from other colleges from the manila folder in front of him as evidence. And he pointed to dollar figures and phrases like, invite you, and congratulations again, and we hope you'll join. I finally interjected because this was where their focus should be. Right in front of them was hope. Letter after letter of choice, opportunity, excitement, support, and belonging. Carefully, I was able to explain that Georgia Tech was no longer an option. Our decisions had been made. Our class was full. Eventually, we moved on to a lengthy but healthy discussion about the other schools and what she hoped to experience and accomplish in college and beyond. Over the course of the next 45 minutes, incredibly, it turned into a warm, productive, and enjoyable conversation that ended with an awkward, but nonetheless appreciated, pseudo-group hug. The truth is, we never should have ended up there. Those conversations should have and could have occurred months or even years before, at home. People love their kids. Unfortunately, each year after decisions are released, admission officers around the country get hundreds of phone calls and emails threatening lawsuits, pledging to write their alma mater out of their will, claiming bias and conspiracy, and informing us that we have ruined their vacation, winter holidays, or life altogether. How does all that feel? Terrible. But thankfully, we know where it comes from. Regardless of the industry, it is human nature for people to question, examine, shake their head in disapproval, and to express vehement opinions. One of the most public examples of this is in athletics, where coaches are constantly second-guessed by fans about the play they should have called or the player they did not start. We have all turned on the radio or heard this type of Monday morning chatter at the office or coffee shop. If I were the coach, or how could he think that pass was going to work against that defense? Similar criticism and questioning also exist for accountants, baristas, CEOs, airline gate agents, and chefs. As people, we are perpetually assessing, analyzing, and looking for ways things could or should be improved upon or done differently. Thankfully so. It is what leads to better bridges, more efficient devices, safer car seats, and delicious food. There is no question that the rising cost of college tuition, increasing debt loads, issues of mental health, and rapidly declining admit rates at our nation's most prestigious institutions are legitimate concerns and contribute to great consternation, speculation, and frustration. The press, politicians, and pundits in community coffee shops and high school bleachers attribute the stress and anxiety surrounding selective college admission to these macro-societal issues. The reality, however, is that while these concerns are legitimate, the core of the admission experience is deeply and uniquely personal and relational. If there is one fundamental truth that we have come to appreciate in this work, it is this: people love their kids. Even with children of our own and over 40 combined years in college admission and counseling, we are annually reminded of the palpable power of the basic human truth that people love their kids. While obvious, it is also central to fully understanding the college admission experience. People love their kids. This is why a mother will call pretending to be her daughter in hopes of receiving a password or an admission decision. It is why a father will be in the lobby at 7:30 a.m. after his son was waitlisted the day before. It is why we regularly hear phrases like, "We are taking the SAT next week," or "Our first choice is Boston College." People love their kids. As parents, you have been holding them up since they were born, and even now as young adults you are figuratively doing just that. When they were little, you could literally pick them up above your head, spin them around, and hold them close as they smiled and giggled with joy. They trusted you implicitly. They were safe, happy, and excited. As they grew up, you spent countless hours sitting in carpool lines. You finished reading articles, waiting for recital practice to finish. You caught up on neighborhood news while waiting for a 30-second leg of a 3-hour swim meet. You helped sell cookies or wrapping paper or hams for team, club, or school fundraisers. Hundreds, maybe thousands of miles have been spent visiting family, competing in tournaments, or enjoying a long weekend at the beach or in the mountains. But fundamentally, nothing has changed. Sure, they weigh more now, they eat more now, they put more product in their hair, but you are still holding them up. And through all of that change, your desire for their trust, happiness, safety, and excitement has not wavered, because your love is constant. If you are a student listening to this, you need to be reminded of that fact. The admission experience can make your mom or dad go a little wacky at times. Maddening, swirling, repetitive questions about whether you have finished an essay, or if you know about certain deadlines, or have checked out a specific brochure that they put on your bed last Wednesday, may feel like pestering. It can sound like nagging. In reality, it is just 17 years of love in disguise. Experiencing admission. There are few experiences short of death, disease, injury, or divorce that have as much potential for trauma for American families as the college admissions process. The first great rite of passage for young humans once was killing a wild animal. That was replaced by getting married or getting a job. These days, it is getting into college. J. Matthews, Washington Post. You could dismiss this as hyperbolic journalism, but the angst surrounding college admission is both palpable and increasing as the most selective schools around the nation become even more competitive. Fundamentally, much of the anxiety about college admission comes down to the principal concept of economics, supply and demand. Phenomenally talented students from around the world are applying to a similar subset of schools with relatively fixed undergraduate student populations. That you cannot control. What you can control is your approach. You can improve your perspective. You can decide to be true to yourself. The reality is that the college admission experience is just that, an experience, not simply a means to a fixed end, but rather about how your family learns, grows, and embraces this opportunity. Ultimately, the decisions and conversations that your family should be most concerned with are the ones you make in the rooms you go into every day, your living room, your classroom, the ones you can control, not those made behind closed doors in college admission offices hundreds of miles away. There are many high-priced educational consultants who will assure you they can predict admission to certain schools. They will claim to polish and package essays or improve test scores to guarantee your admittance. This is a misguided use of your time, money, and hope. There is no perfect pathway to Pomona or Dartmouth with distinction formula to follow. Because this is the case, your goal and vision should not be which campus you will walk onto, but how you will walk through this entire admission experience together. Most people are focused on getting in to a particular school or a very small subset of schools. We hope you will see that the real goal is to gain admission and to stay together as a family. The image of success is not being able to wear a particular school's sweatshirt or place a specific window decal on the back of the car. As you go through the college admission experience, your family's investment should be the same as the one you have always made, to supporting, encouraging, sharing, trusting, and lifting each other up. The college search is an exciting time for students and families. I so wish students could see that they are in the driver's seat when it comes to where they go to college. I realize that they don't always feel like that is the case, but students have the opportunity to choose to which colleges or universities they submit applications. And students then have the opportunity to choose at which college or university they enroll from among their admission offers. Rachel Hernandez, Senior Vice Provost for Enrollment Management, the University of Texas, Austin. A college search redesigned. Every summer, colleges around the country redesign and reevaluate their road piece. This is the ubiquitous 8-page brochure that colleges use when traveling to high schools and college fairs throughout the year. You have likely already seen something similar in your mailbox. Here is how it reads. Page 1. A picture of the football team winning. It is a sunny day and the school's star player is running triumphantly toward the end zone. The scoreboard.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?